Now, Felicia and Kyle have been blessed. Let's just put it that way. Blessed. Hashtag blessed that they don't have to. They don't have to know who Paul and Morgan are until right now. Unfortunately, I've not had to. I do this to myself. I don't know why I say I have to. I do this to myself every week, and I started combing through these people called Paul and Morgan. Last week, I did a clip where they were talking about 8 tips for reading the Bible. And I shared that with you guys on that one. And they are super religious young married couple. I believe they're married. I've made the joke that maybe they're brother and sister, but that doesn't preclude them from marrying each other.
Fair enough, yeah.
True, I guess, depending on where they live.
What's really funny to me is that biblical literalists these two are, yet he has no beard, shaved or cut hair, and she has tattoos. It's like, huh.
What?
Then
they can't be biblical literalists.
That's sure my thinking on it.
They just pick and choose.
Oh yeah, exactly what they do on this one. And this is them talking about they had a Q&A session about Christians on LGBTQ. So be ready. Here we come.
Guys, I was scared to make this video. I don't really want to jump right into a topic that's so heavy, that's so commanding of backlash. Like there's going to be, we just know there is, and it's scary.
Speaking of which, we're watching this right now on the 1st of December. 3.4 thousand thumbs up, 3.7 thousand thumbs down on this thing. So pretty fucking divided. All so he was right. Yeah. I don't know if I would be scared to do this stuff because I'm not scared to do videos. I just go, yeah, that's not interesting. That's not something I think that'll work.
The thing is, if you're confident in what you're saying, if you're confident in your belief or your stance, why are you scared of it? Why are you scared of sharing it or talking about it?
People are dicks. Like that's
yeah.
And he says they both say some fucked up stuff here coming up, and I'm gonna let it play.
But if we can't step out and talk about these topics from a biblical standpoint, then why are we doing this? Why are we making videos in the first place?
To answer your first question, is homosexuality / LGBTQ+ a sin? Yes.
Point that out to me in the Bible. I mean, LGBTQ, that's a lot, and plus. So that's a lot of, citations needed for every one of those.
That's a whole lot. But what do you mean by sin? Please
define
Let's explore this some more, shall we? So here we go.
Also, you have tattoos. So what are you talking sin?
Yes, it is. If you are actively living a gay homosexual lifestyle and saying that you're a Christian and saying that God is okay with your life, that's not true. That's just not a biblical standpoint. That's not what the Bible says.
All those times in the Bible that Jesus said, I hate the gays,
Okay, but she says T. She had the T in there, the transgender.
Oh, but
that's not in the Bible.
To these guys, LGBTQ plus means just gay homosexual, according to what she just said there.
Right.
If you're living a gay homosexual lifestyle.
But there's a lot of heterosexual trans people.
Right.
Guys, I'm living a heterosexual.
Not our audience, those guys.
No, I'm living a heterosexual lifestyle, but I can be pretty fucking gay sometimes,
I'm living a bisexual lifestyle.
I know, right? I'm pan, and so it's like, oh God, I'm sinning. It's like, okay, for us,
but that's the thing. Okay,
we don't give a fuck.
Like,
we don't give a fuck.
You guys are living bisexual, pansexual, bisexual. We're all living in the LGBT lifestyle, LGBTQ plus lifestyle, but we are all in hetero
relationships. Yeah,
hetero relationships right now, and that may or may not ever change.
And I heard
but that's still LGBTQ relationship.
I've been watching Schitt's Creek on Netflix. Really good show. Eugene Levy and his kids are in this
show.
My
sister loves it. My sister loves it.
There was a part where they were talking about the one boy character on the show where everybody thought that he was gay, on the show. And he's like, because he hooked up with one of the people on there, and like Eugene Levy's like, no, he's pansexual. So, it doesn't really matter to him. And so they have this like veiled discussion as they were like at the liquor store, and he's like, she's like, I thought for sure you would only like whites. And he's like, oh no, I like rosé. I like and he starts listing all these different wines. He's like, you know, it's not so much that, you know, I like wine and the label doesn't matter to me. And I was like, yes, that's fucking it. You know?
It is. Yeah. It's not that hard. It's not that complicated.
These assholes.
It's separating you from God. All right, next question is, what do you say when an LGBTQ plus person says, God made me this way? I have a pretty direct answer. I'm not sure if Paul would be.
Morgan has a direct answer?
I would ask a question in return to that question, and it is, does a porn addict come out born that way?
Yes, they tend to. A porn addict is not a thing.
Yeah,
it's not a thing, but an addictive personality is
compulsive personalities are a thing
yeah.
that you're born with. Yes, people are more hardwired for being addicted to things than people that aren't. You know.
Yeah.
But don't expect them to know this.
But you know, I just answering a question with a question is not an answer.
They're conflating all sex. They're conflating all sex with like addiction. That's very, very silly. Like consent. Like the sex is a insulary behavior. It's one-to-one. It's not necessarily like all sex. Like they're just conflating all deviant, quote unquote, deviant sex as the same thing.
Well, I love how these people think that LGBTQ lifestyles have only to do with the nether bits, and sex and interaction and stuff like that. Not romance, not relationships, not dating, not all of the same shit that these two assholes did before they got married. You know, there's a lot more to relationships than just what's going where. So that's what matters a lot more to all three of us, is that whether you have an attraction to somebody, whether you feel like you could spend time with this person, whether you choose to spend time more with this person than anybody else. And so, nope, let's talk about porn addicts. Like, these are nuanced answers for nuanced questions that you guys are just going, Bible says, you know.
Yeah, very
fuck.
Yeah, I mean, so far your little Q&A is a complete waste of time.
Yeah, because you're answering a question.
Not to mention your completely disingenuous answers.
The thief come out born a thief. Well,
I mean, we are born into sin.
The fall.
Oh, fuck.
Sorry, I had a drink in my mouth. He's like, yeah,
well,
but we are
born into sin. So useful.
He's like,
thanks, guys.
He's like, Morgan. He's like, Morgan, that's stupid because we are. That's how I read it, at least.
I don't know. Sure,
or is he Paul or Morgan? I don't know. I
have no idea which one.
I felt bad because apparently Paul Logia and somebody else by the name of Morgan do these things also, and they call themselves Paul and Morgan when they're doing their clips, and they're like, "Oh, Utah Outcasts have these two other cool people on their show," and they're like, "No, not these two assholes. I thought it was somebody else." And so, sorry, we're trying to do more interviews and stuff, but this is the low-hanging fruit we decide to pick every week.
Man, Adam and Eve, because of their sin, we are now prone to sin as soon as we come out of the womb.
As soon as we come out of the womb.
As soon as. And little baby infants are deserving of eternal torment. Wow, what a loving God.
Right.
Fuck, motherfucker.
And don't even bother mentioning what that original sin was.
You know, the baby comes out, rubs mom's clit on the way out, and be like, "I just sinned." You know.
Well, no, because they always seem to forget that the original sin was the acquiring of knowledge.
Yep.
The original sin was that God lied to Eve.
Kyle, don't come in here with your Satanist bullshit.
Apparently.
Hey, Paul and Morgan, if you ever happen to watch this, all three of us will pretty much to your face say "Hail Satan" to you. So
absolutely.
I think Felicia's seeing our side of it now. We've converted her to Satanism.
I just like Satan.
She was pretty much there the whole time.
She was there.
It's not like it took it. Yeah.
But God, it felt so good for you to wear that hat the other day, and I'm like, oh my God, hey Felicia, Hail Satan. You're like, Hail Satan, and I'm like, yay!
Okay. Yeah, that's my in this moment hat. It's from the band in this moment.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's from the show.
Oh, got it.
My mom's husband bought it for me.
It's a pentagram hat for people wondering what it is.
Yeah, it's got a great big pentagram on it. It's awesome. It's super cool, and I really love it. And yeah, it's from In This Moment.
I'm gonna make a shirt on the Teespring where it's just a pentagram. We need to have a pentagram.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Satan loves you
I've been
on the back of it.
a witch long before we started the show. So
oh god, and there people are co-opting that shit nowadays. Anyway, back to this.
God did not make it that way.
Yeah.
So no, God did not make you gay. He did not make you an alcoholic.
But I thought he made everything and he put everything into motion.
Yeah, I thought he created all things, and therefore he created thieves.
And it's part of his plan, though. It's part of his grand plan that. Wait,
that we should sin, right?
She needs to look into Calvinism a little bit because,
Don't look into Calvinism is terrible. Don't look into Calvinism.
No, just watch a little bit
I couldn't recommend that for anybody.
No.
Have the choice, the authority to turn away from that sin that we're prone to, whether that be murdering, whether that be lust, whether that be
lying.
I lie as much as I want. Lying. It just happens to be one of those things where it's a lot more socially acceptable and expected of us, you know?
Well, and oftentimes necessary in certain situations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when I say that.
But, yeah, conflating consensual, loving sex between two individuals that are hardly indistinguishable between their sexes. So it's like consensual sex with hetero and homosexual sex is not that different.
Well, let's just. And they brought up specifically at the beginning of this where they're like LGBTQIA plus, and it's like, okay, so that means everybody within the spectrum that we're talking about here, everybody within the queer rainbow that they're talking about here, is like
all their sex, all of it.
I don't think they would quite understand the workings of, you know, two NB people having a relationship and having sex to be like, wait, that's a boy. No, it's not. That's somebody that doesn't want to have a gender.
Yeah.
It's like,
well,
they're
they would
agender.
say that they do, that they have an obvious gender.
Oh,
they probably would get it wrong because those things aren't necessarily that obvious.
But they wouldn't understand any of this stuff. They wouldn't understand any of it where they're like, oh my God. My mind is swimming with the ideas of all these. And I'm not trying to say that people in the queer spectrum are equivalent to Hellraiser. So apologies if you take it that way, but it's just like like I just keep going back to Pinhead's favorite quote where he's like, "We have such delights to show you," and it's like. But then again, that's also
really delightful over on this side. It really is much nicer.
There's rainbows that don't mean genocide. How about that?
Yeah, ours don't involve genocide, so you know that is much nicer.
All right, I'm just going to give them like a couple more seconds because honestly, we are at the point where
they're really terrible.
They're bad at this.
Yeah,
we're much better at this than they
are.
Eating, stealing,
homosexuality, you know, whatever it is. Like God gave us the authority to turn away from that. But if we don't turn away from that, then it becomes our identity. That's my answer to that question.
Oh, your identity as in you're a Christian white woman.
Identity?
So
what was that identity there?
What's your identity?
Terrible identity. That's what that is.
Boring identity.
So Nilla, please. Come on, get out of here with all that bullshit. Your identity is mayonnaise. Get the fuck out of here. And don't put fucking raisins in the potato salad.
Mayonnaise.
Well, no, I'm pretty sure these guys qualify as Miracle Whip.
Put a little paprika in there or something. Try some new shit out.
I see what you did, Kyle. I see what you did there. Miracle Whip.
Miracle Whip.
Miracle Whip. I get it.
Not even mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Miracle Whip. That's funny.